Hey guys, so I wanted to jump on here and do something different. I actually am feeling called to do a collective reading. As you may know, we just went through, well, I think we're still in Eclipse energy, and Eclipse is all about releasing. So I was talking with God today, and I was like, like, what should I do for my video? And usually I'll go like either like the Divine Feminine or the Divine Masculine, or I would do like them both. But what God's saying is like right now we're all kind of like going through something similar, and so I have quite a few decks. I have the Moonology deck, I have the Work Your Light deck, and I have Power of Surrender. And then I also have my Divine Tarot deck. So I think what we'll do is we'll just ask the question, what is the Twin Flame Collective releasing right now? What are they working through? What is the theme for the eclipse? For me, I've been really getting clear on what I'm releasing in my life, and like it's been quite the intense healing cycle for me. So I would not be surprised if that's kind of like the collective theme. Let's see. So we've got Queen of Coins. I want to make sure you guys can see it. Okay. Spirit, what is the collective going? Oh, the energy's just popping out. Is it supposed to be in reverse? No, it's not. Okay, so 8 of Cups. Yeah, it's already giving me a good idea. Oh. These are supposed to go together. And then I'm getting called to go for one more. Okay, Spirit. Oh, wow. And then Chariot in reverse. Okay, can I get a clarifier for the Queen of Coins? Oh, God's actually saying there is no clarifier. Okay, God, can I get the back of the deck energy for this spread? Okay. The back of the deck energy is 7 of Swords in reverse. Wow, juicy. And then 5 of Coins behind that. Okay, so let's pull ourselves. I'm getting feeling called to do 3 of the Work Your Light. I love this deck, especially like when it comes to like being like a light worker and like you know, standing in your divine masculine or divine feminine power. It's not so much about being like in your like your union, but like who you are and like unity consciousness. That's what I always get from this deck. Oh, it's too many. Okay, you're already doing it. Says stop overthinking, facing your true north. And I'll show you the card. It's very beautiful. I love the colors of this deck. You can see she's standing there, like really trying to like figure herself out. Okay. What else does the collective need to know, God? That's a lot. So that's a little too much. So maybe I just need to have the intention to ground myself. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? I'm really, wow, like these cards are so similar. Like they're almost the exact same card, but this one kind of reminds me of like the divine masculine, and this one reminds me of the divine feminine. Beautiful. Okay, Spirit, one more. Okay, two more. My hair, sorry guys. Boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Oh, I resonate with this one. And Akash, your guidance is divinely guided. And again, it almost seems like that same divine feminine in this one. Ain't that neat? You can see walking further away, and then she's kind of, this reminds me of like 2 of Wands, and this reminds me of 3 of Wands. She's already on her journey. Okay, so now we're going to pull some Moonology cards. I think I'm only gonna pull one. Yeah, I think it's just one today. What does the collective need to know about what they're releasing for the eclipse? Time to give rather than take. New moon and Virgo. Put that there. Oh, you can't really see it. You can see it's here. Okay, maybe one more. There's more to the picture. Conclusions are within reach. Ooh, juicy. I love this card. Kind of reminds me of my friend Christine. She's really good at taking photos of the moon. I don't know why that, well, I mean, maybe that's a message to her. And then the back of the deck energy is the energy is gaining momentum. Oh, I feel like that's very important. Okay. What can this collective surrender? What are we releasing? What are we being guided to release? think these are all 3. Surrender to miracles. Surrender to your intuition and surrender to the idea that you can fix someone. Okay. Wow. So this is a beautiful spread. So Spirit actually didn't get me to get a clarifier for the tarot, which is understandable because it's quite explanatory. We have Queen of Coins, followed by the 8 of Cups, and then the High Priestess and Justice, and then the Chariot. So I feel like for the eclipse season, the collective is like being like guided to like really pull inward and like do a reflection of like where they need better boundaries, where they're maybe like not wasting time but like leaking energy, where or who no longer where in your life, and maybe like also like who doesn't align with your life anymore. And when I say where, I mean like, are there patterns or like daily mundane things that like maybe you've always done but they just feel really bad now? The first thing that comes to mind is like, hey, like say you used to, I don't know, like it was common for you to binge drink or, you know, get like gummies and get high or something like that. Like there's just like something that like is no longer like serving you, and it's starting to feel bad, and you're just really feeling this call to like walk away in a sense. And like usually the Justice card is all about like weighing the odds and like karma, but what I'm getting from it, especially with the High Priestess, it's all about like really like thinking about what's right for you, who's right for you, what's right for you. In my own like journey right now, I'm really getting clear on my priorities, and I'm not necessarily like making too much action. Like I'm not really feeling guided to do too much outwardly, but inwardly I'm really like kind of like getting my ducks in a row. And I think that the collective is also going through this, and it's a time of like pulling inwards, and like the eclipse is all about releasing like what no longer serves you. The new moon, which is, we do have a card that's the new moon, is also about releasing and like setting intentions on like what you want to release, and like, you know, like actually like sitting down and like getting into like a meditative state and being like, where are things not aligning? We also have like surrender to your intuition and surrender to the idea that you can fix someone. To be honest, I don't think that card is about like anyone in particular. I think it's about like realizing that like everyone, like even your kids, even your partner, like your family, your parents, they create their own reality, and like you might feel pulled to, you know, like help support them and like, yeah, it's okay to like nurture, but like I feel like this collective is really being called to find their calling, and like, you know, how can you actually support the world as a whole, and like, you know, maybe you think that you're supposed to be doing this for said person, but really it's actually like kind of like hurting them and their own like spiritual growth. And like what God's saying is that like, you know, like you really do know in your heart like if this is guided or if this is like ego driven. You know, like you will get a feeling of like the best way to say it is like juiciness. Like it feels good to help someone or to guide someone, if it's like actually in alignment. When it's not in alignment, you will actually kind of feel like a heaviness, and like almost like a twinge of annoyance, but it's not a twinge of annoyance. It's just that like it's kind of like a sign or a signal that this isn't actually where my energy is being called to go right now. And you know, you never know like what lessons someone's being taught. And what's really good to remember is that, like, you know, when you're not attached to the outcome of like what you say to someone or your actions and like how they like affect others. I mean, obviously like you have compassion and like, you know, you think with your morals and your ethics, but like, you know, in the teachings of Union, we're really taught to, you know, that we're not responsible for anyone's feelings. We're only responsible for our own, and we're only responsible for our choices and what feels good to us. And I feel like what this reading is saying is that, like, you know, sometimes, you know, it might be hard to like get out of that like mindset that, oh no, I can't do that because I was like taught and raised to do this. And what God's saying is like, no, like maybe like just surrender here and like go down this path and like surrender to miracles. Like, you know, I like it's safe to trust that like you do have like this natural compass inside you that knows where you're going. The Queen of Coins is all about like, she reminds me of Boss Babe energy and like getting that coin, getting that bag. But it's also about like being really like tight with her energy and with her resources. Like she knows when and when not to exert her energy, and she is very in tune with her heart and with her feelings. And the Queen of Coins always really reminds me of like the divine feminine energy at her best. So like I feel even the divine masculine collective is learning, you know, like I can make these choices that are like, you know, they align with me, and I don't have to worry about what everyone else is feeling or going through. And like I think that like the divine masculine collective is realizing that like everybody has their battles, but like you're really not helping anyone if you don't have a full cup. And I think that's like really important to really reflect on. Like even me, like I was speaking with my coach like for my training program, and she said, you know, like you can't even really help someone when your cup is like even a little bit depleted. And I really experienced that. And in this card, I'm really drawn to like the snake right here. And I think that like the collective is just really cutting out those like old conditionings and old programs, and like really listening to like what feels good in their heart. And like she's also looking at the coin, so it's like really looking at like the bigger picture and like the spiritual perspective of things. So which really leads into like the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is all about like, you know, taking your own adventure and taking your own advice for once, and like really like putting yourself first. And then what the main theme of this is that like the collective that I'm picking up on is really like learning to listen to their intuition, to their inner compass. And they're kind of just like, I love how this guy's has a sword, and I just feel like the collective is like, like, you know what, I'm not just gonna let like all this noise and all these distractions like stop me from doing what feels good. And you know what, like if I suddenly want to stop like playing, I don't know, basketball and start, I don't know, this is just coming to me, like start, you know, exploring dance or ballet, like I'm gonna do that because it makes me feel good. And it's just what that concept is. It's just like, it's really realizing that ego is not a real, and like it's not a real concept, and it's an illusion. And that there's like a new awareness in this collective that like, wow, I've been like chaining myself up for so long. And like, that's why I think that like the Seven of Swords in reverse, this is usually about self-deceit. But for me, I feel like it's at the back of the deck energy, and it's telling me that like people are like, I'm done deceiving, and I'm done like putting these masks on myself and like pretending I'm blind, because I'm not blind, and I'm really quite intelligent, and like I deserve love, and I deserve happiness, and I deserve to actually treat myself good. And like, I'm not just gonna like bury my head in the sand. And like the Seven of Swords in reverse does like usually remind me of that energy, like just lying to yourself and like denial and like burying your head in the sand. But like when in this reading, I feel like it's like the collective is like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. So what do I need? What steps do I need to take to, you know, clear that energy out of my life? I'm ready to release it. And as I say that, it's 333. So I think that's quite important. I know my twin flame sees 333 a lot, so that's maybe a sign that he's also like experiencing this. Yeah, like I thought that it was really neat that there's two cards that basically have like the same woman, and one it's like the Two of Wands and then the Three of Wands. So I really feel like this collective is clearing out a lot of things so that they can get into their Three of Wands energy, and all those ships can come in. I feel like there's like a really big like, not a warning, but like it's definitely a clear message that like a lot of us are working on healing boundaries at a deeper level. And in some ways you might just be learning how to have proper boundaries, and you know, like that belief that like you have to be like, you know, the person to save everybody else, but that's not true. Like God doesn't want that. God wants everyone to find their own strength and their own divine capability. There's a huge message of like everything is really good right now, and like you don't have to worry, and like spirit is with you every step of the way. And I feel like this message of like, you know, your spirit guides, God, maybe even like passed on pets or like family members, friend members are with you every step of the way, and they're like, I feel like a very strong presence in this moment in your life, because I think that like you're at the point where you're like, there's no return, and like you are like really clearing some major karmic debt and like these blocks that do keep you from like having your heaven on earth. And for a lot of us, you know, like we're wanting to come into union with our twin flames, or our harmonious twin flame union. And what I'm feeling is that like a lot of people are being like heavily guided and like protected right now, because like they're really on the right path. And spirit's just telling me that like they are like really acknowledging like, yeah, you like are going through like a lot of mud right now, but like what's happening like needs to happen. And you are like very like protected and guided, and all you really have to do is just like close your eyes, and like they're there with you. And you could even like visualize like giving, I don't know, for some reason I'm getting like a pet, yeah, like a pet energy, and like you could visualize like holding your pet, because they're there for you. Their soul has like been attracted to you to kind of like help you heal through whatever you're healing. When I see these two Moonology cards, this is a time to give rather than take. And like, I really think that that's like about just like cutting out everything that kind of just like drains you and is not serving you, so that you make more room for the vibration of love. And sometimes that can be difficult because you're like, oh, like I never thought that that person wouldn't be in my life anymore, or oh, I thought that like that was something that was healthy, but it then turns out that it's like not healthy. And like, you know, spirit or God might be like guiding you to release it, but there's kind of like a no, like I don't want to let go. But what spirit's saying is that like these things are being released and like, you know, dissolved, so that you can actually receive more good. And like you're calling in like something huge, and it does require to be at a certain vibration, and like you do have to be in union like with yourself to step into this vibration. And I think sometimes that like actually when I'm thinking about a class of Jeff and Shalia's, sorry guys, where Shalia said that like, you know, most people are actually really scared of their biggest wish, and this card is reminding me of that. Like, you know, it's like, well, spirit and God are like, hey, like you're calling this in, but like you will not let go of like what I'm asking you to let go of. So like are you gonna let go of that so that I can like actually like bring you your good? And like an example that I'm having in my head is like when you call in a date with your twin flame, and then you're, you know, making excuses or like trying to like find reasons to push them away instead of like actually having that like situation manifest. Yeah, that just like really like came up strongly. And then so conclusions are within reach. I feel like this card is just like, and I also the back of the deck is energy is reaching momentum. Yeah, the energy is gaining momentum. Waxing moon. Love all that pink. And then there's pink in this card. So like I feel like there might be like a hot heart chakra like opening and then a breakthrough. And I love how close the moon is. So for some of the collective, like I feel like once we like release this these limiting beliefs and these stories that we're telling ourselves, interesting, I started saying we, so that's interesting. You know, and then like what you're like desiring and what you're like trying to manifest, like you can like actually start seeing results of happening, because I think like what the hardest thing about you know, stepping into like your power is realizing that like you can have whatever you desire. God wants that for you. Your spirit guides, they are like constantly like guiding you and showing you the right path to go in order to get those things. But like we're just not used to it. So like we spent a lot of time like resisting and like thinking, woe is me, I'm a victim. And what spirit's saying is that like you can have like all these things, you can have all these miracles and blessings, but like we can't give it to you unless there's an open door. And like I think that like it's really important to remember that like everything in life is actually like a manifestation of like your internal world. So, you know, like if you believe that like you will have, I don't know, let's say your dream house, the likelihood of you getting it in a faster rate is high, because like you're actually telling the universe like, that's mine, like I claim it, bring it to me. Whereas if you're, you know, you're constantly like listening to limiting stories and beliefs about how you can't have it, and you know, like thinking about all the scenarios on how it doesn't work out, that kind of confuses the universe. And yeah, I feel like I'm being called to pull another card. Okay, I think it's Moonology. What else, Spirit? What else do I have? Oh, I think it's this one. Bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. Yeah. I really get from this card that, you know, like we're really being called to look at our lives, look at our routines, look at our thought patterns, look at our schedules, just like our life in a whole, and like, is it bringing you love? Are you at peace in every area? And you know, like, so say like you're having problems sleeping. Well, what are you thinking about before you go to sleep? What's like, are you really truly at peace when you lay down? Are you actually sleepy? Like, you know, like take inventory. Like, are you actually like setting up a good environment for your desires? Or another scenario that's like coming to my head is yeah, like you know, you make plans with your friends, but you know, you have laundry piling up and like you're really tired and you would rather go to bed early, but you're feeling that like pressure that you need to go. But what Spirit's saying is, do you really, like, is that like, how would God treat you in this situation? It's always bring love into the situation. I think what this card is saying is, well, how would God treat you? How, like, treat yourself how you would treat your child. Like, you know, like, or yeah, like, I think how would God treat you? How would, and if you don't like the word God, how would the divine treat you? How would your fairy godmother or your, you know, your guardian angel treat you? Treat yourself like that. Yeah, I feel pretty complete here. I think that we're just in a process of releasing, and it's not just the divine feminines, it's not just the divine masculines. I almost feel like we're like partnered up, even just like as a like collective, like unity consciousness, like really releasing like that negativity and that low vibration. And I also noticed something online, you know, there's a lot of like hurt and like anger coming through the world right now, and really that's just really scared human beings acting out because like they're in fear and they believe in fear. And what God's saying is to really hold your boundaries up, and like it's safe to kind of like be in your bubble right now. If you don't want to, like, I don't watch the news, but you know, like if like someone like tries to like tell you like something about like, you know, what's going on in the world, or you know, like something that like, you know, like isn't actually quite accurate in truth, like, and what I mean by that is that sometimes when you're really in the 3D like consciousness, you believe everything that you hear, especially when it comes from a trusted source like, you know, the media or the news. But what Spirit's saying is that, you know, it's safe to just be in your bubble. If you're bored, go color in like a one of those adult coloring books, or go for a walk. Just really protect your energy right now, because like there is like a collective raising of the vibration, and when that happens, like it kind of gets worse before it gets better. So yeah, that was just my little spiel right there. Anyway, guys, it was really nice to see you. I was kind of like taking a little bit of a break because I've also been going through a lot. That's what happens when you're constantly healing and constantly leveling up. So yeah, I hope this really helped you guys, and I encourage you to just keep on healing and keep fighting the fight, and I'll see you next week.